violent language goes is really interesting because Brian Kilmeade last week straight up said we should euthanize the homeless. We should kill them all. And he didn't like that he accidentally agreed with that, as a matter of fact. It was on camera. Caught in 4K. This is thought crime. Okay? What are they going to do? The point is, and the reason why I don't actually worry as much or I'm not as scared is because we still have some semblance of laws in this country. We have a constitution in this country. And more importantly, we have a bunch of people who I believe, regardless of their political deviations, regardless of their ideology, will respond negatively to this. I am not so certain that people from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life will be excited at this. I know you look at Twitter and I know you see those tweets go viral on the fucking fascist platform. Something that you do. Anti-fascism is an ideology. Anti-fascism is an action. Anti-fascism does not have a disciplined formation. Fascism requires constant discipline. Anti-fascism does not. Anti-fascism could be anti-racism. All this talk, especially coming from this show, by the way, as far as form, run by a white supremacist monster like Elon Musk, and you think, no, there's a lot of people who are excited at this. There's a lot of people who are salivating at the prospect of this. Make no mistake. I told you that people, once they realize Donald Trump was going to do mass deportations, once those mass deportation initiatives came knocking down their doors, would not like it. And that's precisely what happened. And I'm telling you once again, even those who currently celebrate these initiatives do not realize that they will hate it when it's implemented. Okay? It is up to us, if the Democratic Party is not going to do this job, it is up to us to educate people on what that looks like. It is up to us to convince our neighbors that this is completely unjustifiable. Stop saying most people are right-leaning. That is not true. The left-right dynamic does not exist in this situation. There are certain things that Americans believe and defend unconditionally. Okay? Does that mean that some Americans, especially a decent chunk of Americans, can't be convinced? No, of course they can be convinced to love this dictatorship, this fascist dictatorship. Absolutely. But if your assumption is that like even Republicans are going to be appreciative of this stamping out of the political opposition, that they're all going to get on board with this vengeance quest, if you think that they were primed into agreeing with this, then the Trump administration wouldn't be farming the Charlie Kirk assassination to develop this initiative. Do you understand? They would have just done it and people would have been on board with it regardless. They are trying desperately to get as many people on board as possible. But what they fail to consider is that this kind of stuff annoys people, especially in the absence of any sort of material improvement to their immediate circumstances. They are frustrated, they're angry, and every single day a new person realizes maybe all of this like hunting down trans people, hunting down undocumented Guatemalans is not actually improving my life in the way that I thought it was going to. Every day it's happening. And I told you it was going to happen inevitably, and it's already here. So look to that change in attitude overall. Look to the fact that Donald Trump is less popular now than he was at this point in 2017 to recognize that even though our liberal institutions are completely capitulating to the administration, there is mass discontent. There is mass outrage. There's fear as well. But this can be productive. But it can only be productive if you actually explain to people who the real villains are. It hasn't even been an entire year since Trump came to power, and there is already mass discontent. Okay? You say, dog, the majority of people are sleepwalking through this shit. I agree. I recognize that. I understand that. It is up to us to explain to them what's going on and to shake them out of the stupor that they found themselves in. Okay? We have to wake them up. That's it. And obviously, if this wasn't something that the administration feared, they wouldn't be going after people. They wouldn't be going after people like myself, for example. If I was just an irrelevant personality in the same vein that I've billed myself as for my entire fucking career, and I still do think that, by the way, make no mistake, but I don't think the administration sees it as such, they wouldn't be actively stamping out any sort of political dissent. Do you understand? Only a weak administration engages in these kinds of punitive measures. A strong administration that has the popular mandate doesn't care. They don't care. I mean, you did call the violence. Man, shut the fuck up, dude. Jesus Christ. No, I did not. Okay? I did not. If that gets you more excited at the prospect of stamping out political dissent, good luck to you. But it will fuck you one day as well. This same administration will eventually fuck you as well because your life is not improving. And eventually, there will be a moment where you wake up to the reality that your life is not improving. And there will be a moment where you say, hey, can we fucking make housing more affordable for people like me, the average Joe? And when you actually ask that question, you'll also get fucking prosecuted. Ignoring this kind of stuff does not go away. Okay? Ignoring this kind of stuff does not make it go away. It's not. Folks. No, I'm going to China. I'm going to France. Obviously, like, international travel is fine. Well, there's other issues with international travel. It's, when at the point of entry, let's see if I'll be able to get back into the country. But that's neither here nor there. This is the part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news. And let me tell you, there is something very important I need to tell you, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I did it. Speaking of France, which I will be going to for my boy Squeezy's event that I will be streaming for the American team, I finished it. A masterpiece in every way. Clair obscur, expédition 33, lumière. Oui. That's right. I finished it off stream last night. I was like, you know what? It's time to take a crack at it. I was playing the Act 3 because Act 3 is like pretty open, where if you choose to follow all the quest lines, you can do it. It's like a choose your own adventure style situation. And I was doing all of it, and then I said, you know what? You got post-game content to do too? No. I did all of it. I did all the post-game content, and then I basically finished the game. No, I did not beat Simon. I know. I did not beat Simon. Anyway, shut up. So, it was great. I chose the bad ending. I won't reveal, but I chose the bad ending and not the good one. I'm not going to spoil it because there might be people who haven't played it, but it was a spectacular experience, even on the Steam Deck, which of course was certainly not both endings are bad, but there's like a really bad ending, and then there's like a less bad ending. let's just say there is a depending on your philosophy. Okay, couple things I will say. Obviously, this game is about grief and coping with loss and trauma and letting go. It's very clear that that is the entire purpose of the game. Like the entire storyline is built on this concept. Okay, and this is not about, guys, I'm not giving you a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. Nothing I'm saying is a spoiler. All I'm saying is it's about coping with trauma and it's about grief. And it's actually a beautiful game about this concept, about how people cope with it and what is the appropriate thing to do. Okay? And all I will say is, depending on your personal moral philosophy, let's just say if you are a utilitarian, for example, there is a very obvious option there that the philosophy of the developers has regarded as the wrong one. Whereas, if you go along with the release of grief and letting go in order to move along with your life, that's still a bad ending, but it's the less bad ending. Let's just say I went with the utilitarian approach because, from my perspective, everyone's a real human being. And the concept of humanity and the concept of a soul is not necessarily dictated by flesh. And therefore, I consider what the game developers clearly chose to be the immoral ending to be the correct and moral one. Okay? That is all I'm going to say. Now, of course, there's still issues there, and I like that they kept it. They kept some of the problems with that ending as well. But overall, I think at first I was frustrated with like how weird the characters were because it was not built around any decipherable, discernible previous fantasy character structure, RPG character structure that I'd ever seen. No orcs, no elves, you know what I mean? And for that reason, it was like difficult to understand at first. But once you push past that difficulty, that initial difficulty, I will say once you find yourself in this universe, leaning into it, I think it's great. It's great that, yes, I relationship maxed everyone also. What a silly question, of course. And I fuck Seal, which was wrong. That was my biggest mistake. Okay? I would have, if the option was presented to me at the same time, I would have gone with the Weijin waifu, Lune best girl, obviously. But unfortunately, I by accident, by sheer accident, I fuck Seal instead, and that's because she threw it my way faster than Lune did. Lune was playing too hard to get, so yeah, I piped Seal. Okay. Very quickly engaged in post-nut clarity, very quickly realized worst mistake of my life, but doesn't matter. Also, I will tell you this much. I never fully comprehended the Seal combat system the entire game. Okay? But overall, game is fantastic. Is it game of the year? A lot of people say it's game of the year for sure. I don't know. I think it's too soon to tell. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And I totally understand why people consider it game of the year. Wasn't Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 also this year, though? Because I still think, because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 came out far too early in the year, there is no recency bias, and it probably will not get the recognition that it absolutely deserves. But I still think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is my game of the year, if we're keeping it a $1.50. So no need to mute. Expedition 33 talk is not, it was very much spoiler free. But what I'm saying is I greatly enjoyed it. It was fantastic. I would give it a 9 out of 10, maybe an 8.5 out of 10. But I think it's the reason why I'm giving it that is probably because I played it on the Steam Deck. Okay. I played it on the Steam Deck, and there were definitely some complications due to it being on the Steam Deck. But small dev team, obviously they poured a lot of love into this process. It's Kino, it's art. It is exactly what it's supposed to be. I will say, soundtrack was spectacular. I think the world was a little crazy. The world was a little too rich for my blood, for my tastes. Like, I can't get over the fact that maybe it was too French. I don't know what it is, but it was an amazing experience. It was an amazing experience, and I really, really loved it. And yeah, shouts out to the French. Much love to the French. Did you beat Kingdom 2? Of course I did. I beat Kingdom 2, and I started playing Kingdom 1 because of how good Kingdom 2 was. But the game I was talking about is Expedition 33. I just finished it last night, and I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Maybe like a 8.8 out of 10. There was no way to play that on the stream, by the way. That's not a good stream game. I think y'all are crazy, and you don't know what's good for you. So yeah, that was personal news. Woke up this morning. It was actually, the weather was really terrible. The weather was actually kind of ass. And it was raining, and I didn't know if I could go to the park for that reason. But I found an indoor court, and it was awesome. Playing basketball indoors is such a fantastic experience. It was yet another moment where I pushed myself when I didn't want to do something, and I'm really glad I did because I felt great. This is like post leg day, so obviously playing basketball post leg day, usually on the concrete, it really fucks me up. But playing indoors, much bouncier, much better on your knees. I forgot that there is a world out there where you could just like play basketball and not feel tremendous pain in the immediate aftermath. So, yeah. I'm glad that I did that, though. Once again, this is your reminder that if you feel like you can't go out and you feel like you can't work out, you feel like you're too tired today, you got a headache, this or that, pushing through that and actually going out and engaging in some kind of physical activity is always going to be good. It's always going to be good. You're always going to feel better. There's never been a moment where I have felt terrible and then decided to push through it and go work out and felt worse in the aftermath. I always feel better. And I highly recommend it for all of you. Touch grass. Once again, when the world feels like it's completely outside of your control, obviously, there are still things that you do have control over: your body, your mind, your mental sanity, your immediate friendships and your relationships, your family. There is some very healthy and positive aspects to that. So, Hassan, can you please unban my other account? I literally watch you all the time. I made once to the comment saying streaming is harder than working a 9 to 5. The day after you literally had a title, just that for your stream. I don't know why I was perma-banned for that. When I see trolls in your comments say way worse things to me, please unban me. My other account is LA Dodgers, also Free Palestine. Hell yeah. You unbanned. Okay. Do you use any hypertrophy apps for your workouts? No, I have trainers. But okay, that working out is really important, especially more important now than ever before. It's always good though. It's always good for your brain. It's always good for your mind. It's good for your body. It's good for your soul. So no matter what you do within the confines, within the limitations that you currently have, within the confines of what you can do, you should always attempt to do, because you put the right foot, you take one step after the next, and before you know it, you've arrived at your destination. So, in any case, guy who was arrested for January 6th, the administration. Fascist, loser, neo-Nazi, was arrested during January 6th, demanding the Trump administration, begging the Trump administration arrest me for being an anti-fascist. Good luck, man. Will you please share this with the community? Project 2025 tracker. Sure. What is this? You're about to start a female loneliness epidemic? What is this? What the hell is this? Is this AI? What the fuck is going on? Y'all are so dumb, bro. Y'all are so dumb. This is AI making it seem like I'm doing like Chris Brown style meet and greets, bro. This is so stupid. Some people are going to believe it too. God damn. Oh, hell no. Why you look Puerto Rican? I don't know, but I like it. I like it. I look more like Bad Bunny than Bad Bunny does, especially in this one.
I need your help to open my backpack so I can give Boots his present. You have to say backpack. Say backpack. Say backpack.
Yo, stop saying backpack. Fuck you mean backpack? There's a photo of him walking up the stairs. Does this backpack look like there's a fucking weapon in it?
Louder.
It would be poking out. It's not a foldable stock. Shut up. The gun, they just showed the gun. That's amazing. That's real. That happened. That happened on this broadcast. Meanwhile, federal government's like, we got to go after these Antifa terrorists, these dangerous terrorists. Meanwhile, this is what's going on at the Hasanabi broadcast. They want to come after me because I'm doing commentary on Dora the Explorer, dude. Sniper, no sniping? Okay, dude, stop. I made this meme. Me in 2027, listening to the illegal Hasanabi shortwave radio broadcast while on the run because Supreme Leader Thiel criminalized any anti-fascist thought in the American Burger Reich. Just saying whatever, bro. 100%. I do think that the sequential events here will probably get a bunch more liberals to wake up to the reality, though. Are you scared? No, I'm not. And neither should you be scared, okay? You shouldn't be either. Cannot be scared in this moment. Don't be. Dora the Explorer, was she exploring weaknesses in our border? That's one of the funniest bars that Will Neff has ever put out there. Yeah. That alongside with my take on Algebra, more like Al Qaeda. We can't have none of that in those schools. That's like those were the days, man, when Will and I would just like rip them. What is this? I made this little highlight of your inspiring speech and it kind of popped off. Oh, nice. If you're still doing this during the apocalypse, isn't that just insanity at that point? I mean, we still need a sense of community. The new Hasanabi girlies are going through
stole the
evolution of starting to watch Hassan Piker to become more informed about politics, and now this is how I watch his streams.
Powerful object in the universe.
Blah, blah, blah. Proper name, place name, backstory stuff.
It would be funny if this wasn't our future, to be honest. Hopefully it won't be, okay? You need to go on Will's stream more. True. There's new Rolling Stone coverage for David. Everything we know and don't about the missing teen found in a car registered to David. Yeah, bro, this is a pretty crazy story. It's probably gonna become like national news if it hasn't already. And obviously I'm gonna talk about that too, because it's pretty crazy. So this is a singer and also was a streamer. Like, he was a literal streamer. He was like a Fortnite streamer. He became a singer. He has a song with my nephew, Jason the Ween. And it turns out he is, I mean, it's pretty crazy because, like, I think universally, everyone, if you were to ask most people, they would say, like, that he was, he presented himself as like this impossibly good and nice and kind person to such a degree that, like, it's full tilt whiplash, the heinous crimes. No, it's not like R. Kelly. I'm telling you, like, because sometimes there is at least like an indication that a dude is doing awful shit, right? Like, this dude, there was no indication. I mean, maybe his fan base might have known, like, because there's some stuff about like his Discord server, and like probably his Discord server knew he was up to some fucking, you know, pedophile stuff, right? But I'll give you guys an example. I'll tell you what happened here. But like, this is some Dexter ass shit. Okay. Now there's no full connection. There's no full-blown investigation that has been conducted. And as far as I understand, the law enforcement is really taking their time with this thing. I don't know what the fuck they're on. I don't know what kind of timing LAPD's on, but let me tell you, okay? God damn, dude. Do your fucking jobs, LAPD. Holy shit. All right, listen. We'll get into it. We'll get into it in a second. I haven't even blasted off yet, but there is some pretty. LAPD's too busy playing Candy Crush, dude. It is crazy. The story is crazy. Okay. What is this? Dude is doubling down on defending Israel. The narrative being spun by Max Blumenthal and Candace Owens about Israel's involvement in Charlie Kirk's death is falling apart. Tyler Robinson of the ACP killed Charlie Kirk. You communists killed Kirk, and you're all going to jail. Wait, what? They put me as the... Damn, bro. They put me as the colonel of the ACP, the American Communist Party. That's crazy because, like, I've never even attended a meeting, and they already made me the leader. Like, what is happening? I guess I'm the new chairman, you know? First of all, I'll be the chairman, not a colonel. What the fuck does that mean? Okay? I guess I'm the new chairman of the American Communist Party. So all of them hate you so funny. Yeah, I know. All right, whatever. So we're gonna talk about all of that in a second. Let me just blast off real quick because, like, you know, there's so much to cover today, as always. Where was I? Cancel culture galore. The most annoying people on the planet are cheering on. Your tits are looking amazing today, King. Thank you. As for political asylum in China, bro, they won't give me that. But maybe. Okay, cancel culture galore. The most annoying people on the planet are cheering on. Cracking down on political dissent. Loserville. Comedy is illegal now. Kimmel suspended over tepid remarks. What is this? If you want the Wired article link and the Australia article, I already did the Australia article yesterday. Oh, Wired did a new article. Cancel culture galore. The most annoying people on the planet are cheering on cracking down on political dissent. Loserville. Comedy's illegal now. Kimmel suspended over tepid remarks. Khalil. Judge orders Mahmoud Khalil deportation. By the way, is your title meant to say illegal? Wait, why? What is it? No, I'm saying comedy is legal now. I'm saying fix your title. Yes, I'm saying comedy is legal now. Like Elon Musk. Comedy is legal now. All right. Judge orders Mahmoud Khalil deportation and so much more. Get in now. I just like, there's so much happening in the world and it's all ass. Are you being sarcastic? Yes, dude. Yes, I'm being sarcastic. I'm saying comedy is legal now. Okay. David himself is a Twitch streamer and a Fortnite player initially, who then turned into a very successful singer-songwriter. Okay. Like the song, I did not even know that like one of the TikTok songs that I actually enjoyed quite a bit was actually written and was his song. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he was in Arcane. He had all of these, his career was exploding. He was like opening for Caliucci's and doing so many different things, right? Was it Invincible? No, not Feel It from Invincible. But there are so many different, like he was in Invincible as well, but like he had a song with Lofi too, is so insane. Yeah, he was really, really, really popping off. Like he is a clearly a very talented guy, right? What's the most famous song that he has? Like the one that really blew up on this is the one that blew up on TikTok. Oh, this one. Yeah, this one. I think. Yeah, you've heard this song before. It's impossible for you not to have heard this song before. I don't listen to music, and even I played this song quite a bit, right? Now, there's also a relevance to the actors that he hired seemingly in his music videos as well. It's pretty fucking crazy. The story actually unfolds and untangles into like something even crazier than you would expect. Okay? So basically, we find out that, or not we find out, but like there's this news story that comes out while David is on tour. Okay? While David is on tour, there's this news story that comes out that that there's a decomposing body that was found in the trunk of a Tesla. The Tesla is registered to David. Okay? David Anthony Burke. It's a 2023 Tesla Model Y with a Texas license plate. And what's even crazier about it is that like obviously he is cooperating with the authorities throughout the entire process, and he's still continuing to do his tour. Okay, and apparently the car itself was abandoned. Seemingly, the car itself was seemingly abandoned, and it was called in by someone who was walking by in the neighborhood, and that's why it got towed. And I believe there's some details that are all over the place, but like it was initially abandoned and then impounded. Okay, when someone called it in. So what's interesting about it is that like when they see this foul odor, they come in, they figure out that there's a decomposing human remain, but the victim's body had deteriorated to such a degree that it took medical examiners a full week to identify her as Celeste Rivas. Now, Celeste Rivas is a teenager that was reported missing by her family in February and April of last year. But what was confirmed at the time the body was discovered was that the 2023 Tesla Model Y, like I said, was belonging to the up-and-coming singer David. Okay? Celeste Rivas just turned 15. She actually passed away before she turned 15. Her age matters in this situation. So she's like, when people say she is 15, that doesn't tell you the full story. She is a full child, okay, full-blown child. Burke was on tour when the body was discovered, David, and a representative said he was cooperating with the authorities. Police have yet to name a suspect or even a person of interest in the case, nor have any arrests been made. As police continue their investigation, here's everything we know about the shocking case so far. So, after the detectives discovered Rivas' body, a report from the Los Angeles County medical examiner described her as a female with wavy black hair, wearing a tube top and black leggings, size small, as well as yellow metal and stud earrings and a yellow metal chain bracelet. Her height was listed as 5'2", 5 feet 2 inches. But Rivas' body was so severely decomposed that examiners were unable to determine her eye color, age, or race and ethnicity. One of the only potential identifying details they were able to share was a tattoo on the right index finger that read shush, like shh. Okay? This tattoo is relevant later. This becomes a big part of the story in a moment. Just over a week after the body was discovered on September 16th, authorities finally identified Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a 15-year-old from Lake Elsinore, California, who was reported missing by her family last year. A GoFundMe has been set up to help her family cover the cost of funeral arrangements. After Rivas was identified, reporters quickly swarmed the family's home. While the family declined to speak with them, TMZ reported that Rivas' mother had said her daughter had been dating someone named David before her death. A friend, Ruby Alonso, who was visiting the house, described Rivas as sweet and studious to Rolling Stone, adding, "It's so sad. She was very beautiful." Despite identifying Rivas, there's still much authorities do not know, including a cause of death. A report on the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner website still listed her cause of death as deferred. Now, initially, for understandable reasons, they immediately billed this as a murder. But after they hadn't conducted a proper investigation as to how this had taken place, so they actually retracted that it was a murder, for the record, which sounds insane, but we still don't know. I don't know if they've changed that since then, but they have to do more autopsy and run more tests to figure out whether this was a homicide or what it was, what kind of homicide it was, like what it unfolded. Okay, him, Jesus, all love, man. Yes, it was him because he found my account out of nowhere and followed me. Fuck. Well, what? Okay, I don't know about all this stuff. Okay, I don't know about all, this. There is there's always going to be like a we did it Reddit association with this stuff. It could be totally valid. It could be totally real, but I'm not going to entertain unsubstantiated stuff beyond what is known so far, even though law enforcement is very clearly not doing law enforcement is very clearly not doing a decent job with this at all, it seems. When I was writing this, I got a notey from, he also had this to say at some point in 2022, which seems odd to say the least. When I was writing this, I got a notey from you as you were talking about wanting to be with your mom and your sister again. Take me where I belong, but our circumstances won't allow us to be in our ideal situations. We got to push through it, bro. Yeah. So there's also some other shit too This was a photo that was circulating around, people saying that this is David like paying off friends of Celeste to keep them quiet. Not even a year ago, my homie told me that David for D4 Ed guy owes someone money in Lake Elsinore. Now this girl's dead, missing from Elsinore. Weird. One insane thing I saw was that photo you just showed where he was paying her off is a 6-minute walk from where her family lives. Prayers to her family. Oh, this is another girl that like David follows on Instagram, Kira Hollander. She says, prayers to her family. I used to be close friends with David and we, in air quotes, dated when I was 16 and he was 18. We've seen each other IRL twice max. And there's so much more, but he introduced me to religion and whatnot. So I'm shaken. I'm so shaken up by the fact that he could have done this. I remember a Celeste and I have a pic of them together that I've seen in the past. And then this is her mom's Facebook post as well about her daughter going missing. Isn't it weird how Lud was defending David? No, dude, it's not, because they had all of this information came after that. Okay. If you were to get mad, if you want to get mad at someone, get mad at the fucking proper people, the law enforcement that is like clearly botching this investigation so far. Like, how the fuck are people supposed to assume that this dude is like a? How are people supposed to know that this dude is like a fucking a possible pedophile, kidnapper / murderer? Like, that is insane. Do you expect that? But yeah, the reason why I'm bringing this up also is because like he also shared Celeste's story in 2023. This was Celeste's Instagram account. Dean Blunt Lover 444 was her Instagram account, which is once again strange because like I mean, at that point she's like 13, you know? And then there are the reposts as well. LAPD homicide detectives search a house tied to David in the murder of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. TMZ reports investigators left late Wednesday with a computer and several evidence bags. But once again, what I am confused by is more than anything else is that there is so much evidence tying this musician, this singer-songwriter, directly back to, at best, a minor that he was very clearly grooming and was very clearly in a relationship with. And then they found this minor's body decomposing in the front trunk of the same musician's Tesla. What more do you need? Like, what more would the investigators need in this situation to be like, I think it might be him? What the fuck? Like, even if it's not, okay, which is insanely unlikely. The fact that they're not like looking at this as a homicide investigation, like, what is this? What is this? Like, do people's lives just not matter? Is that what it is? If you're like poor and you're Hispanic, you're like a little Hispanic girl from a poor neighborhood and you're minor, like your life is just so worthless. Think about the amount of money and the amount of manpower that was spent on the Charlie Kirk killer, right? Like, Charlie Kirk was a human being, but so is Celeste. What the fuck are we doing? It's obvious that, at least in the eyes of law enforcement, there is like clearly a double standard, which blows my fucking mind. Three cops got killed yesterday and there's no outrage from it. Oh, is that the York one? If there's no outrage or not a lot of media coverage on it, I suspect it's probably like MAGA affiliated. Who knows? Maybe not, but you know, that's usually how it goes. Remember when right wingers kill someone, they didn't kill someone. It's still a left winger, you know? If they can tie it back to Trantifa, oh boy, you know? So basically, I covered the song that this was like unreleased but leaked, where he makes mentions to Celeste. There are two different Celestes here as well. The shush tattoo also might imply that there was a secret that they were both keeping. Obviously, I think you understand what that secret is. The secret is that she is a super minor and he is not. Okay? A clip from the deleted Twitch VOD on David's channel has been found with Celeste from the past. With Celestes from the past. Two Celestes. I believe there is one. Yes, the victim Celeste, not the decoy one. Same hoodie in this picture. There are two different Celestes that he was hanging out with as well, which I don't know if it was like some fucked up sociopathic, like 5-head dispersion. But yeah, there is like a of age Celeste, and then there is a minor Celeste.
Yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good to have a big family? Oh, thank you, Mitochondria. Appreciate you.
I gotta stop with him if you even.
We
need to delete this.
Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too? Yo!
In hindsight, his shirts were odd. Bitch, I have that same shirt. Calm down, okay? I wear that shirt too, bro. I have the same one. Also, once again, the actresses that he hired in his music videos also suspiciously look like the victim as well. And this is from like years, okay? This is for years at this point. Like all the way from 2022 onward. David, during his Genius interview for Romantic Homicide in 2022, said it's kind of like the storytelling aspect of the lyrics that came before it in a way.
So what inspired the hook, "In the Back of My Mind You Died," is kind of like the storytelling aspect of the lyrics that came before it, in a way that it builds up to the big moment where she died in the back of my mind. Like, I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died. And I didn't even cry, not a single tear. I've seen people online take different meanings and interpretations from that one part of the song where it's like it's their past selves that's dying. And they're not even crying about it because they're evolved or become better people or have killed addictions and other different stuff like that. So I think it's very powerful in that.
Bro, it's so crazy, down to the fucking lyrics, down to like the premiere of the music video being on Celeste's birthday. Davis' song Decide dropped on March 28, 2022. Celeste, born September 10th, was only 11. The lyrics Save Your Tears, 7 years, point to her being 18 in the future. People say they've been talking since she was 11. Yeah, there's another lyric that's like also a super famous one too, right? Where it's like where he's like talking about the time he has to wait. It's called Here With Me. Yeah, it's like in hindsight, it comes across like almost all of his songs were about his pedophilic obsession with an 11-year-old, dude. And like what he was intending to do in the future. Like this is one of the most insane stories I have ever fucking heard in my life, dude. Yeah, in the Here With Me part, where he talks about like, what is it? I can't describe what I'm feeling. All I know is we're going home. Watch the sunrise along the coast. So please don't let me go. Don't let me go. And if it's right, I don't care how. Yeah, this is the part. I don't care how long it takes. Which is so crazy because that's like the most viral part of that fucking song. That was his song, chat. Even I know this song and I don't even listen to music. I didn't even know that this dude was the dude that made this song. Don't cancel me, brother. I think this guy's a bad person. Wow. Controversial take. I got to be divisive here. This guy's a bad person. Don't cancel me. Controversial take, chatter. A suspected alleged killer / pedophile kidnapper groomer who left little breadcrumbs in his incredibly viral hits about his pedophilic relationship with an 11-year-old. Wow. I mean, there's two routes here: jail, perma jail, or fucking become a prominent fixture of the Trump administration. So that's where we're at now. Who knows? Why is this lyric bad? Because the speculation now is that given how much he's talked about this like relationship that he had, this grooming, like statutory rape relationship that he had with this minor, all of the lyrics that talk about like how long it takes, I don't care if it's right, I don't care how long it takes, is like about, the implication is that it's about how he is supposedly waiting for her to turn 18. Yeah, he also held funerals at his shows. David reportedly brings a casket, a wreath, a notepad with a pencil for people to write letters to the deceased during his shows while on tour.
Now, why the fuck would the artist do that?
But like that stuff, obviously from the fan base perspective, is like they just look at that as like, you know, like all of this hits different with hindsight. Do you understand? Like there is no indication or suspicion that you would ever have beyond like, oh, this is spectacle, this is performance. You know what I mean? But then when all of the puzzle pieces fall in the places that they're supposed to fall, all of a sudden it looks insane. Like before, prior to all of this knowledge, it comes across as like, oh, just, symbolism, pageantry, whatever, right? But then when you look at it, when you look back at it with your knowledge now, in the aftermath of this fucking incident, you develop a very different realization. Yeah, if it wasn't for the mom identifying the body, none of this would have come to light. Exactly. And if it wasn't like a matching tattoo and the mom basically saying, oh, she had a tattoo of shush on her finger and was dating a guy named David at the time of her going missing. And then people realizing that David also has a tattoo of shush on the same fucking finger. This would not have been, like, considering how much they had flubbed this investigation thus far and are still continuing to do so, because unfortunately, people like this are discardable. People like this are not seen as like real human beings that are worthy of a proper investigation by the authorities. Clearly, that it seemed like he probably would have gotten away with it. I don't think you know proper investigation. What do you mean, brother? If a 13-year dude, when Gabby Petito went missing, it became a national news story. When Gabby Petito went missing, it became a national news story. She was not a public figure, okay? But she was from an upper middle class white family, okay? She played a role. When Celeste went missing, clearly nobody gave a shit. And this happens all the fucking time. There's a reason why Jeffrey Epstein, for example, would scout out girls from poor backgrounds and poor neighborhoods. This happens a lot more frequently than you think it does. Do you understand? There are those who law enforcement do not care about and do not place a lot of emphasis on, do not place a lot of time and effort into finding justice for, okay? There is a two-tier justice system, and it certainly exists from a class dynamic as well. This happens so frequently with black and brown girls, young girls, and native indigenous women especially. There are thousands of stories like this in this country. I think Gabby was a YouTuber. No. Her YouTube page was marginal. It was like tiny at the time. Anyway. Is there an organization that works to highlight these missing people? Isn't there something called moonlighting or some shit where the cops drive out indigenous girls who freeze to death? I don't know. What would they have done differently if she was rich? The moment that her family said that she was missing, they would have conducted a proper investigation to figure out, to figure out like who she was seen with prior to her going missing. They would have most likely figured out that she was dating a David who at the time was developing a blossoming music career. They would have looked at the age differences. Because she went missing in 2024. At that point, David was already a known figure. Apparently, the brother told LAPD that David probably hurt her and they shrugged him off last year. I can totally see that happening as well. What is this? I wouldn't want them to be influenced by the LGBT until they fully understand their mind and body. And it seems that the LGBT is pushing for younger and younger kids to make that switch, to be who they are when they don't even understand themselves as people yet. Yeah. Me, when I see an Indian person, bro said minors are too young to figure out their sexual orientation, but apparently not so young that you can predate on them, you know? That is crazy. Anyway, anytime people are like, wow, it's real suspicious. The LGBT is suspicious. They're trying to take our minors. He's like, you like this guy? No, bro, I don't fucking know anything about this guy. I met him one time for 30 seconds and he was like super nice. How the fuck am I supposed to know what his background is? I didn't even know he was like Christian until I saw TikToks of him talking about like Christian, what Christianity means for him or something. I think he has like a prayer TikTok or some shit, which I thought was like weird. Anyway. Also, I will be real. As good as I am at reading world affairs, okay, as evidenced by pre-watch Piker, my locks for this year basically coming true. Okay, I am horrible at reading people. It seems. I mean, it's evidenced by a lot of people that I have been endlessly charitable to in my career. Because as long as someone is like nice to me, I just assume they're a nice person. I am a bit of a fool when it comes to a bit of a sucker and a bit of a fool because I always assume the best in people when I meet them. Like there's never a moment where I assume that like someone I meet is even a remotely bad person, let alone a fucking pedophile murderer potentially. Obviously, no one thinks that, right? So don't listen to my judgment on whether, or rather listen to my judgment when I am suspicious of someone, because that means they are laying it on thick. Okay?
Examiner in Los Angeles has identified the body found in the trunk of a car registered to the singer known as David earlier this month. Now, they say that she's a 15-year-old girl who disappeared last year. The musician is on tour now, but his show last night was canceled. Elise Preston has more.
On Wednesday, the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office said the severely decomposed human remains found in the trunk of this Tesla last week belonged to 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. Multiple media reports say the vehicle is registered to singer David Anthony Burke, better known by his stage name, David. Police found Rivas's body inside the Tesla on September 8th after responding to reports of a foul odor at the Hollywood tow yard.
The fuck are we talking about? Of course it was canceled. Brother, it literally wasn't when they found the body. He kept doing tour dates. Only after the victim was identified a week later, due to the mother recognizing the tattoo on her finger, only after that did he cancel his show tonight in Seattle. He is not in custody.
Where the car had been impounded. The Tesla had been towed days earlier from Hollywood Hills, where one neighbor said it had been abandoned for weeks.
It hurts. It hurts.
Friends and neighbors say they're surprised by Revis's death.
When I met her, she was very lively, just like all giggly.
Revis, a resident of Riverside County, was reported missing in April 2024 when police said they received a report that she had run away from home. The medical examiner said Revis appeared to have been deceased for an extended period of time and noted a distinctive tattoo on her right index finger. Images show David had a similar tattoo on his finger. Representatives for the singer have not responded to our request for comment. David had been scheduled to perform a show in Seattle Wednesday night before it was canceled. For CBS Mornings, I'm Elise Preston in Los Angeles.
President Trump says he will designate Antifa as a major terror.
All right. Now we're gonna get back to the horrible realities of day-to-day American existence. Obviously, we have a lot going on that front. We're going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel. We're going to talk about Antifa. We're going to talk about everything else. Now that we are, I think that I've done, to the best of my ability, a decent job of trying to explain to you all the stuff that I was looking into with this David situation. So, yeah, moving on from one fresh hell to the next. Your Antifa edit went hard. Oh, yeah. Is that what you're talking about? This is the biggest attack on free speech since the McCarthy era, but it also has significantly less popular consensus behind it than the second Red Scare. Is being done on behalf of a minority faction led by the most unpopular president in modern history. Organizing against this can win. Yes, I do agree with that. That's why this is not a moment to feel discouraged or scared or fearful. The reason why they're doing this is because they're weak. If they weren't weak, they wouldn't be doing this. If they didn't recognize their powerlessness, this music is not the best music. I'm gonna be honest with you. What the hell? It makes it sound like I'm just so dead. They wouldn't be doing this. If they weren't fearful of mass discontent, they wouldn't be trying to make an example out of random fucking people. You can't cave. You can't be fearful. You can't let these guys. Yeah, it sounds like I got mesothelioma. Yeah. Fascist. Okay. Fuck this administration. This administration is a fascist one. I am an anti-fascist. What the fuck are we doing? What's next? Are they going to openly go, nope, we are a fascist government now? They're going to just say that? Is that what we're doing? Because anti-fascism is just fascism. Bro, don't say that right now. Oh, what the fuck? Get out of here, dude. Listen, you need to understand something, okay? These people are not strong. They're fucking weak. They fear you being united, okay? We have the numbers. There are Americans of good conscience everywhere. Okay. And because they're so fearful that if the people stand united, that they'll never be defeated, that they try to pick apart. They try to divide the masses. They try to make an example out of people. Okay. And when institutions don't actually respond in defense of the citizens in a country like the United States of America, especially, okay, if institutions don't respond, if people don't respond, if they actually obey in advance, then regardless of how weak they are, regardless of how fearful they are, they win. And it doesn't stop. When they get a victory, they do not stop. That just emboldens them to dig deeper. This is how it fucking works. They do not have enough confidence. They do not have the numbers. There is a lot of discontent against this administration. They do not have the numbers. They can't even get the fucking National Guard to be deployed everywhere. They can't do that. And even if they were to do that, there is no guarantee of success because the National Guard is also comprised of your fucking neighbors, okay? There's no guarantee that those guys are going to be like, all right, well, we're loyal servants of fascism now. These are the actions of a weak administration. These are not the actions of a strong administration. If they were strong, they wouldn't feel the need to stamp out any sort of discontent. If they were strong, they wouldn't feel the need to try to put the fear of God in your hearts, in your minds, in your soul, to stop you, to make you think twice. I argue with a liberal who dislikes your Ukraine takes deeply, who despised you in August. He was praising you last night in a reply to Kyle Kalinske retweeting this. I mean, I'm glad that they're finally coming to the recognition that I'm not their enemy. But if I'm to make an assessment here, I would make an assessment off of the fact that people are recognizing that all of these silly, drama-focused opinions that they've developed over the years are completely and utterly irrelevant in the face of a much larger evil that is facing American society and American future. I'm glad that like fucking liberals are finally coming to that recognition. That means that hopefully, if a guy like that is so primed, if a guy like that who is so primed to fucking hate me over like whatever they've seen, okay, so primed over like whatever they've read on Reddit, can recognize that there is a much larger problem here that must be solved, a much larger problem here that must be fought against, then the normie liberals probably are at a much higher level of anger and resentment towards this administration. So that's good. Before you engage in any sort of anti-fascist action, before you engage in any sort of demonstration, because they are afraid. It is upon all of us to make sure that we don't stand down, okay? Today will be the easiest day for you to express your discontent. Tomorrow, it will get harder. And the day after, it will be even harder than that. And the less we express our discontent, the less we express our frustrations, the more this administration will feel emboldened to do more of the same. Yeah. We can't afford to stop, is my point. We can't afford to stop. What is this? They don't have the numbers? Oh, this? The Bugs Life.
It was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant. One ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss. They're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
Well, how about this?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Damn, this movie hits different as an adult. I mean, listen, the point stands, right? Objectively Marxist work, by the way. We should watch it. How do you actually stand up against successfully against an administration that just doesn't seem to care legally and has no real opposition parties? We have to do it ourselves. There is nothing you can do. You can't rely on anybody else. You can't just like sit around and expect China to do something. You can't sit around and expect the Democrats to do something. You have to do it. We have to do it. Okay? You have to rely on your neighbors. You have to rely on your communities. This is how it's been. This is how it's been since the beginning of this administration. It's very clear that the Democrats left us behind. I've been saying this over and over again. I will go so far as to say that a lot of people who are fearful, who feel left alone, who feel left behind, are only feeling that way because they have not experienced solidarity. Okay? They have not organized. They have not been out in the streets. They have not protested. Okay? These guys are fucking such idiots. Brian Krassenstein just declared he's Antifa, which is classified as a terrorist organization. I'm Antifa, meaning I'm against fascism. All Americans should be. Antifa is not an organization. Domestic groups cannot be formally designated as terrorist organizations under U.S. law. Trump did not have the legal authority to unilaterally designate Antifa as a terrorist organization. No federal statute allows for a president to make such designation domestically. This has 44,000 fucking likes from libs of TikTok saying Brian Krassenstein just declared he's Antifa, which is classified as a terrorist organization. Same with this fucking dipshit. Excuse me, at FBI, I'd like to report an Antifa domestic terrorist who needs to be immediately arrested and deported. His name is Hassan the Hun. He's currently crying and pissing under his bed sheets right now. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I said fascist loser neo-Nazi was arrested during January 6th, begging the Trump administration to arrest me for being an anti-fascist. Good luck, man. Good luck. Yeah, dude. I am an anti-fascist. Okay? I am a motherfucking anti-fascist. What do you mean? All people of good conscience should be an anti-fascist. What the fuck are we talking about? Yeah, I'm proud about it too. So dumb. Yeah, I'm the CEO of Antifa, baby, the organization. What a radical proposition, man. This is how it started. We started with woke, right? Oh, that's woke. Woke just means you're a nice person, by the way. It's not even, they're not even hiding that, by the way. They just straight up are like, oh, you're woke. No, I just think like, you know, gay people and trans people should be left alone. Because I'm not some obsessed loser like you are. It's called having fucking empathy, man. It doesn't have to always be fake, okay? And it's so strange. Now they're like, oh, I can't believe someone said that they are an anti-fascist. It's like, everyone should be an anti-fascist. If you're an American, shut up, commie. Oh, shut the fuck up, bitch. If you're an American, your grandparents were anti-fascists. They fought fascists directly. What the fuck do you think World War II was about? There's a reason why, even to this day, active neo-Nazis refuse to call themselves as such. Now, that's changing, for sure. But up until this moment, very rarely would you have open neo-Nazis call themselves as such because they understand that there's a bad association with this, okay? Same with the Klan. Up until today, Klansmen used to wear masks. There's a reason for it, okay? And we know what happened in the first Trump administration when Nazis from all around the country came down to Charlottesville to unite the right, to do a rally, to do a massive demonstration. They did not choose to wear masks. They wore that creed, they wore that badge proudly on their chests. They showed their faces. They thought they had the numbers. They didn't. The second Unite the Right rally was loosely put together and was met with overwhelming force. This is why I say there will always be people out there who think that they're a lot more popular than they actually are. But you have to assume that your neighbors can be convinced. You have to assume that your neighbors still have some semblance of decency. Your communities are still comprised of individuals who are just maybe not paying close attention to everything that's going on. But if they did, they would realize, they would recognize right from wrong. You can't just give up on others And you can't give up on trying to fight back. But let's get into it. Donald Trump has said he will designate Antifa as a major terrorist organization in the wake of Kirk's assassination. There's no indication that this person, Tyler Robinson, was Antifa or anything like that, right?
President Trump says he will designate Antifa as a major terrorist organization. Now, Antifa is short for anti-fascist. It's a loose affiliation of mostly left-leaning activists. The president wrote on social media last night that he is, quote, designating Antifa, a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster, as a major terrorist organization. He also says he will investigate those who fund the group. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand joins us from the White House with more on this. Good morning, Natalie. Tell us more about this push from Trump and the administration to crack down on all, it seems, left-leaning groups.
Yeah, Errol, earlier this week, the vice president and White House officials said that the administration is going to do everything in its power to, quote, dismantle institutions that promote violence, political violence in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. The administration has also alleged that wealthy progressive foundations have funded what they call these far radical and left groups, including Antifa. Now, the president, in this new social media post late last night, overnight UK time, says that he will be recommending that the funding of Antifa be investigated. But based on current laws on the books and First Amendment protections, it's unclear how this would work, what the administration can really do here. Also important to point out that, based on experts who study these groups, even the former FBI director, Antifa is very decentralized. It doesn't have a hierarchical structure, so it's really unclear how he would go after this group. And there's been debate all this week about the First Amendment. On the takeout with Major Garrett last night, the House Oversight Chair, James Comer, was asked if he, in his mind, has a definition of speech that would incentivize or promote violence that would prompt a government response to suppress it. Take a listen to his answer.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a limit. But I don't know what that would be. I mean, it's just like we all agree that child pornography is not free speech. Right. There are limits to speech, but those would have to.
I don't know if this administration agrees with that. Let's be real, okay? Trump certainly didn't have an issue with child predation. A pal is a wonderful thing, he wrote to Jeffrey Epstein, So I wouldn't be so certain.
Be a big bar, because I believe very strongly in the freedom of speech and in the entire First Amendment.
And as this debate continues, Attorney General Pam Bondi on social media said in her latest post on the topic, hate speech that crosses the line into threats of violence is not protected by the First Amendment. It's a crime. Errol, back to you.
All right, Natalie, thank you.
Well, Donald Trump was talking about really making sure we tone down the violence. And if you are going to be violent, then you could be put in a category of a terrorist. And he said the Antifa is sick and dangerous, and Antifa will be designated a major terrorist organization. He said, I'm pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I am designating Antifa a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster as a major terrorist organization. I will also be strongly recommending that those funding Antifa will be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practices. Thank you for your attention on this matter.
So 2 things on this. First of all, this is long overdue. It's not just an ideology. If you remember the Summer of Love, that was many of those people were Antifa.
And he talked about doing it then.
That's exactly right. And now he's back in the presidency to make it happen. They're domestic terrorists.
We don't even prosecute the Klan in this country. What are we talking about, dude? We don't even prosecute neo-Nazi groups. Like, think about that. Think about that. We don't prosecute the Klan. We don't prosecute Nazis. We don't investigate these groups, but we're going to investigate something that's not even a group at all. Antifa Anti-fascism is not an organized body, okay? It is by design